Hello everybody, welcome to iCommand. Stevie Boy here, and we're going to be doing a little bit of a list building clinic for IACP Skirmish. And this video comes to us courtesy of Jonathan P, who emailed me about a week ago, a little more than a week ago, with some lists that he wanted me to take a look at after I did my other tabletop admiral kind of a list review. And I am sad that I'm sorry that I'm a little bit delayed getting to Jonathan's list here. This came right after Adepticon had just happened, so I was pretty busy with doing Adepticon coverage with Ben and Stephanie, and then Brendan and Stephanie, and then we've got season 8 coming out just around the corner here. So I've been very busy trying to get everything ready for that to come out and to get revealed next week. But now I've got a little bit of a break here. I can finally look at this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so glad I can do this. And actually, I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit because I wanted to tell you all that Jonathan is also responsible for now having updated the tabletop admiral skirmish module with all of IACP up through season 7. That has been kind of laying dormant since like season 5. The person who had made it had not been updating it because they got busy with real life and they had to take a step back. But Jonathan here has come in and updated that. So if you're a fan of Tabletop Simulator. That's the program on Steam that lets you play tabletop games in 3D. That is now ready to use to play IACP Skirmish. I think a lot of people mostly play Vassal because it's a little more accessible, especially on the hardware requirements, but I know some people do really like that 3D interface for Tabletop Simulator. So if you like that and you want to play some IACP games on there, you can thank Jonathan P for getting that updated. And I hope he will update it for us when season 8 comes out. Okay, but let's get into it. You've got 4 lists here, and I've only got about 15 or 20 minutes to talk about them. So let's get into it. So he wanted me to look at these. He said he's pretty new to the format, and he wanted to try out his hand at list building for IACP. So we're going to look at these lists. We've got 4 to look at. Starting off here with this nice hunter list. He said he's looking for hunters that worked well with Cad Bane. Would love to keep HK-47 and the Trandoshans or Bosk, as long as he has some lizardmen, if possible. So looking at the list here, we've got Trandoshan hunters. We've got HK-47. We've got Jabba, there's Cad Bane, who we are building a list around. We've got 2 regular Claudites, that's interesting. We've got Bib Fortuna, Black Market, First Strike, and Headhunter. So Headhunter is probably on HK-47. That's a nice combo where you can just deal a strain to something in your line of sight, and then Headhunter will trigger, and you'll be able to discard a card at random from their hand. So that's pretty brutal. One of the more effective combinations we've seen for him. So Cad Bane's interesting. He's giving extra movement out to hunters on their on any given activation, so that works nicely with stuff that attacks at close range. I guess is what he's trying to do here. Giving one of these guys 5 speed is really nice. I do like that. Let's see. Claudites are interesting to have the regulars, so I think something that we're going to see. We're probably seeing him doing, if we have the, do we have the form cards? Let's see, a soldier, there it is. Let's see if I can just bring up those forms. There we go. So we've got the forms down here. The soldier form is the one I think really works well with the regular Claudite because you get a shield token no matter what. And I think that's probably what he's using one of these for, to give a shield token to help move his close range fighters into the fight without getting shot up at long range. And then I assume the second one is going to be the Senator. And remember, you can only have one form of each type in play at the same time. So you can't actually have 2 soldiers, which maybe is what he was thinking of doing here, to get 2 energy shields up per turn, but these are unique. They have a little unique symbol on them. So the other one would probably be the Senator, and would be distributing 2 power tokens per round, which is not bad actually for a 4-point figure distributing 2 power tokens. He does have Jabba and Bib. However, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's only got 4 main attackers, which is not bad. He's got 2 focusers. Actually, 3 focusers. So actually, these guys will probably be focused up too if he's using First Strike to get some extra VPs to then spend on Bib Fortuna's bartered information ability to get that extra focus. This list is not bad, honestly. So the only thing that, yeah, really suspect to me is the 2 elite Claudites, but if he can keep them focused up with Bib and First Strike, then maybe it's not too bad. HK and CAD do also like being focused, as well as do the Trandoshans, especially now that they have that surge for +1 damage, which they didn't used to have in the old game. They do like being focused, and usually you want to focus them first, since they're not going to be able to be attack. They have to close in to the opponent to attack effectively, so they're harder to keep focused other than with Java. But yeah, I think this looks good. I think the Claudites is something you experiment with and see if it works. If it doesn't work, maybe you would drop one for like Jawa, and then maybe bring something like Onar to kind of give you a little more punch. But if these guys are working, the other nice thing is they give you a spy. So let's see what his command cards are so we can kind of figure out what's going on here. So we've got Assassinate, New Orders. That's interesting. That's actually pretty cool with CAD. Is he a leader? He is. So that's actually quite cool if you can do it with CAD, where you use I make the rules now, have something move next to Cad Bane, and then he can use New Orders on them to reactivate them. That's pretty cool. I haven't really seen that done a lot, but that would be cool if it works. We've got Heightened Reflexes, Tools for the Job, worth every credit. That's good. Definition Love. This is HK47's card that lets him perform a free attack without spending an action, but only 2 red die, and it has to target something 5 spaces away. I found this is not always the easiest to meet the requirements for, that space range limit. Weirdly, sometimes like you can't really get line of sight on something without moving within 5 spaces, but it's still a good card for 1 point. You're getting a free attack. I think it definitely is. You always run it with HK47. It's so cheap. Negation, primary target, celebration, element, surprise, opportunistic, planning, take initiative, urgency, and of no importance. Yeah, this one makes sense because he's got the Trandoshans and the 2 Claudites, so I do think that makes sense. Looking at what I would change. So the thing that stands out to me here is, number one, we're not seeing any spy cards, so we're not really making use of that with the Claudites. So we might want to consider either strategic shift or, let's see, strategic shift or intelligence leak. Intelligence leak especially is just really free. It doesn't cost an action or anything. Strategic shift can be just devastating when played on early in round 2 to take your opponent's hand down from like 6 or 7 cards down to 2, and they don't have the cards they thought they were going to have. That being said, I can understand maybe not wanting to run them in a format that has smuggling compartment in it. That card that came out last season, season 7, which can pretty much hard counter a lot of these spy cards for 1 point. It just depends on whether you're going to see it. You do have Bib though, so you can discard them if they're dead to add extra damage to your attack. So I feel like there's not a super high risk there. Okay, the other thing I was going to say was the thing that Trandoshans have that make them they give them a leg up or an advantage versus other similarly costed hunters like HK hunters or Weakways or something like that, is their brawler hunters, which is a rare type combination. So it's you really want to think about if you can lean into that brawler trait, especially to do something like looking for a fight, combining with what is it called? Where is it? Parting blow to get a free attack with them, especially because they can shed that stun at the end of the round, which is really nice. Now it's true though that these are his only brawlers, so he might have to. Maybe he wouldn't want to do that unless he brings Bosk, which I could see just cutting these 2 Claudites for Bosk here, and then you could also cut, like, New Orders is a cool card, but you might want to just cut it for. You could cut it for like Parting Blow, and then cut one of these 0 cards like of no importance for looking for a fight to give you access to the combo, and then you could actually keep some of that activation swapping with change of plans if you have Bosk in the list. to like, so you activate the Trandoshan hunters, then you would exhaust boss who's somewhere safe to be able to activate them again, which is a really nice way to do it. So that's my thoughts on this list. I think this is solid though. I think this looks like it's got some good bones on it. So let's go to the next one here. All right, here we go. So the next one is going to be the HK Assassin Droids with another hunter list. Mandalorian Renegade, Jabba, Onar, Zuckuss, Vinto, Clanatu, which is probably going to be on the Mandalorian, and the child companion that comes with it. So another hunter list. I don't see anything. The main thing I see here that stands up to me is Zuckuss. So that's kind of where I'm looking at, like, what are we doing different here than most other like hunter lists. Zuckuss is a hunter for now. Let's see, we've got Assassinate, Cripple, that's interesting. Brawler Hunter, choose an adjacent hostile figure until the end of the round. That figure cannot voluntarily exit space. I just reading it because it's funny, we were looking at this card in IACP to see if we could change it. So I just want to make sure I'm reading the original text correctly. That is interesting. What are we using that with? So that does kind of key in with Zuckuss stunning stuff. Okay, so I see. Zuckuss is using shared calculations with these HK assassin droids to get plus. Does he get a +1 or he gets a reroll? He gets a forced reroll on the defense die, which has not been as strong as we had hoped it would be originally, but the HKs get that as well. They also get it on their attack. Alright, we've got Draw. So we've got, let's see, Dirty Trick, Height and Reflex, Tools for the Job, Draw. This is Vinto's card. Very good card. Gets him a free attack for 1 point. We've got Extra Protection for Onar, Negation, Primary Target, Element Surprise, Findsman Meditation. So this is a nice one that lets you kind of interrupt one of your opponent's activations with Zuckuss to attack it. Let's see, we've got Planning, Take Initiative, Toxic Dart, and Urgency. Alright, interesting. Okay, I see what's going on here. So not only is Zuckuss feeding off of the HKs for shared calculations, he's also sending out stuns with the stun net to then give Merciless, to turn on Merciless. So that's why we're seeing Toxic Dart being used here. Turn on Merciless. Okay, it's all coming together, guys, and that's why Vinto is here. I probably could have just read his email. To make a team around the Zuckuss HK Assassin Shell. Sure. Okay, there we go. And there's Cripple. So Cripple doesn't really help with that though, because it's not actually stunning it. It just makes it can't exit its space. But I guess it keeps it out in the open where so it can't escape. Okay, so yeah, this is pretty good. There's a big problem here though, is that you don't have enough focus, and you really need focus for this list. Vinto needs focus a lot. Zuckuss doesn't because he autofocuses, but Mando doesn't. Mando appreciates being focused, and the HKs really want to be focused as well. So it's built around Zuckuss and HKs. Oh, and Mando. So Mando doesn't weaken with his flamethrower. So I wonder if he thought that was a combo. I'm wondering what Mando is really here for. I don't see a ton of synergies here with Mando, which would be stuff like To the Limit in the command deck, or like Field Promotion or whatever that card is, 1 point command card that lets a figure have another figure move. Like, is it Field Tactician would be a card you usually see with Mando and the child, so the child can move Mando, and then the Mando activates and he can attack and use Flamethrower in the same activation. So I'm wondering if you cut Mando for something like... I'm just going to mess with it here. Clan of 2, that's 9 points, right? So then do you do like maybe a Jawa... What would we do? Hondo, Jawa... Or we could do Bib. We could do Bib and Hondo. Does Hondo... We would want something that deals out conditions, yeah? So what would that be? I mean, Greedo could be a good option, right? Greedo, and then that gives you 2 points for something like... You could go just a Jawa, so you can get last activation. I didn't mention that, again, for the other list as well. Whenever you have HK, you really want 8 activations, so you can get the last activation on your opponent. and it forces them to keep their figures in hiding if they don't want to get hit by the Mockery plus Headhunter combo. This one with HKs, they also kind of want to do that too. So I think this would be the change. Would be to cut Mando for Greedo, Bib, and a Jawa to give you that extra focus this list really wants to have for Vinto and the HKs. And then Greedo's a really good pinch hitter. He doesn't hit quite as hard as Mando, but honestly, for 4 less points, he is definitely a bargain. Okay, let's move on to the next one because I have a meeting coming up soon. All right, we have an Imperial list. We've got Captain Taro, Iden, Elite Jet Troopers, Kane Somos, Elite Stormtroopers, Imperial Officer, Rule by Fear, Suppressive Fire. So I'm guessing that's on the Stormtroopers. Well, it might be on the Jet Troopers. Zilla Technique, and then we've got Advanced Comm Systems, which is most likely on Kane Somos. So this is cool. This is a Kane Somos list, but he's trying to leverage some really strong trooper attacks to get free attacks from Kane. So Iden and Captain Taro are great for this. Let's see, we've got Covering Fire. This should be the new version. We've got New Orders again. We've got Rally the Troops. That's fun. How many points is that? A lot of 3-point cards. Call Vanguard. That's correct. Cavalry Charge. This card is what makes Captain Taro really good in ICP. Concentrate Fire. Negation. Rank and File. I don't like this card. I'll just say that for Troopers. I think there are just maybe better 1-point cards out there. So I would probably cut that. Celebration element of no importance again. That makes sense. Officers training, planning, taking a ship, and urgency. So first thing I would do is I would cut rank and file for the aforementioned field tactician. This card is really good with Iden. You have Dio use it to give Iden a movement, and that also allows you to move Dio because of attached. So that's a really strong combination with Iden to give her like crazy insane movement. It's also probably really good with Kane if he needs to move somebody into position for firing squad. So that's really good. Stormtroopers are interesting. I would wonder if you'd want to cut them for another jet trooper group, and then you can lean into the vehicle synergies. So like if you cut like this card, I don't think is that great. Just to bring back just to ready another figures group, and you're basically giving up Kane's activation to do it. New Orders, I'm always kind of iffy on. I know there's people that think that it's really good in their hands, but I would probably, if you could cut one of these Stormtroopers and go for more consistency in your traits with another Jet Trooper, then you can lean into the vehicle cards that they get access to, which include Overrun, which is fantastic, and Fuel Upgrade, which is also fantastic. But you'd have to cut something else in here. But otherwise, I think this is fine. I think you can totally make this work. I think you've got strong cards here in Taro and Iden and Kane. I mean, Kane is okay. He's been kind of in the middle, but with this, if you're running him with some heavy hitters instead of with like little chumps like Stormtroopers, like Firing Squad's not great when you're doing it with Stormtroopers. Firing Squad is awesome when you're doing it with a Captain Taro and Iden Versio attack. All right, we got one more. I've got just a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna have to wrap this one up. And we are looking at a Sentry Droid list. Okay, these are fun. We've seen quite a few of these lately. We've actually seen a lot of them with HKs coming in instead of the Sentry Droids, but I think both are fine. Focus Sentries are pretty good, and the way they do that is through using General Soren's surge ability. And oh no, we see an 8-point Soren here. Jonathan, you are in luck. Soren is 5 points in IACP. You've got 3 extra points left over in this list. So yeah, he's 5 points in IACP. You could probably cut like, what do we got? Heavy Fire is great. Targeting Computer, I think you can cut. I think that goes on the tank. He's got Scavenge Weaponry too. I think cut Scavenge Weaponry. Targeting Computer makes sense on the tank when you're using it to double attack. but I was going to suggest you basically can get another probe droid in here. There we go. Boom, fixed it. Easy. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see, we've got optimal bombardment. This one, I think you play with it, but I don't think it'll be very good for you. I'm looking for droid cards. Triangulate's fine. You really want the other one though. Let's see. Rapid recalibration. I definitely think you want that in this list. I think Hunter Protocol is really good. I don't see it here. Oh no, there it is. Hunter Protocol. Okay. Yeah, so I think just some messing around with some of the. I think you also want shared experience, which is really good here. I think you also want the other one that lets you redraw targeting network. So I think that's the one you want to see because you can redraw it and feed it to Zillow. All right, thanks everybody for watching. I do have to get going, and thanks Jonathan for sending these lists. Bye.